Anyway, I'm Rita Schmidt, and I'm the Assistant Director here at the Fort Dodge Public Library, and I'd like to thank you for coming this afternoon to our program. And Judy Payne, I will let her introduce herself because she is, well, yes, smart, sassy, funny, all of those fabulous things, so she'll do a much better job at introducing herself. But please feel free, we have plenty of time for Judy's presentation, and I know she'll tell you that if you have questions, feel free to ask. And so thanks all for coming, and Judy.
Okay, all right. Okay, I guess I kind of said hi to everybody. I don't know you all quite. If you can't see, like over there is the worst corner to see because I need to see this. But yeah, I thought I would probably, first of all, I want to take off my furry thing here. I want you to make sure you know I'm not, this is not about being skinny. This is just about being healthy and happy. I mean, I'm 152 to 155 pounds. See, nothing's folded out, nothing's tucked away. But I'm not, this is about the fact that I'm a 72-year-old, 152, 55 pound healthy lady who now finally, after a lifetime of fighting compulsive eating, close to food insanity, am at peace with food. Now that is not to say I do everything right, as I've already told you about, which I don't think normal people do. And we'll talk about normal people and define who they are in a minute. My goals are to give you some food for thought, and hopefully you kind of have a nice time when you leave here and take something with you. And I thought this, I did this one about 6 o'clock this morning, because I think to myself, like, who do I think I am? I think, why do I get to do this? Well, I get to do this, and I'm not a know-it-all, and I certainly don't know it all about losing weight, and I'm certainly not going to tell you you do this, this, and this. I'll tell you how I think you should go about deciding how you're going to do it. But I am in that small minority of people who have lost weight and kept it off for a very, very long time, for 30-some years. And what's even more rare is I documented it as I was going. Kind of the English business teacher in me kind of did that, and I documented and I kept track. And then what I've realized in just the last few years is that the teacher side of me came out, and what I did is I wrote a curriculum for you guys with lesson plans. But I did it by looking back at what I did right and what I did wrong. And then those lesson plans I worked on and tweaked and worked on myself till I got things the way they worked well for me. Plus the fact that I'm just passionate about research and learning what's going on. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'd still like some easy answer, like we'd all like, but it probably isn't there. So I've also researched and studied for years. And what we'll talk about, I'll give you a quick overview of my life and philosophy, and my mission. My mission's organized into 4 steps. And I didn't want it to sound like I was just trying to talk about my book, but my book is my life. If you don't like the book, you probably don't like me, because that's what it's all about. It's not like I made a lampshade or something. You go, ooh, that's an ugly lampshade. It's me, and what I've got to give to the world, which is, again, the biggest reason I do this is because this is, next to teaching and raising children, this is the most important thing in the world to me, is trying to help other people who have struggled or are struggling with the same kind of problem I struggled with. And finally, I got enough answers that it's really no big deal anymore. It's not a deal, which we'll talk about in a moment, but it's no big deal. So I'll talk about my experiences and then questions. First of all, questions for you. How many of you in here have never been on a diet? Ever? Really? Really? Well,
that's how I got to be almost 200 pounds.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody in here that's never been on a diet and never gained weight, never lost weight, just always stayed the same and eat as much as they want? And if they are here, you better get out as fast as you can, because the rest of us will hurt you if life is that perfect for you. How many of you have ever been on more than 5 diets in your whole life? Okay, how many of you have ever been on a diet and gained it back? All right. Well, you're my people. Of course. And 80 to 95% of people do. That's just what we do. And so a lot of my stuff that we're going to go through, and I think I can help you with, is how to get ready for the next time. Now I ask these questions, everybody asks these questions, but they're 3 really dumb questions. How much did you lose? Well, maybe it's 5 pounds. You've been struggling with 20 forever. Maybe it's 100 pounds. Maybe it's 400 pounds. Sometimes I think deep down inside, I think I am a 600-pound lady hiding in a 155-pound body. I mean, when you watch that 600-pound life, I get it. My heart bleeds for those people. I get that. I could have been that. I got to 255, and I didn't see it. People say, well, you'll reach a point, you'll stay. No, I would have just kept going till I looked like a helium balloon. How did you do it? Again, many people will say, oh, I went on the blood type diet, or no fat, or no carbs, or no this, or no that. Okay, and how long did it take? That I think is the very worst one, and I'll probably keep emphasizing that as we go along. But there are 2 smart questions, at least 2 smart questions. Does anybody have any idea what they are? Okay, I'll tell you. How long have you kept it off? And how have you kept it off? As you'll go through here, to me, losing weight is just basic training for maintenance. It's not the finish line, it's the goal line. If you didn't learn anything, you don't need to learn how not to eat, need to learn how to eat. If I could eat packaged, stuff, pre-pep or Metrocal or whatever is the latest thing, it's a vacation. Going on a diet that doesn't let you make any choices is like, to me, a vacation from thinking and autonomy, and taking care of yourself. Because you're not going to stick to it. At least in your right mind, you're not going to stick to it, because eating is wonderful. And I mean, it's one of the greatest joys of life. I'm not giving it up. Okay, as I said, this is kind of the curriculum I made for you. And I want to show you a bunch of symbolism here. There's probably way too much, but the reason I ever started I used to do half-day seminars long ago when I had done a 6-hour audio cassette tape library. And I started writing then because I couldn't say in a half a day all I wanted to share. So then I wrote a book. Well, now we're going to do this in 20, 30 minutes and 40 minutes, I don't know. And it's difficult. But I want you to understand some of the symbolism of this. This is what the book looks like. And diet glue is one word. Get it? It's stuck together. All right. Now the color, the grays and everything mean a lot, because the gray in the top of the cap is kind of I did put 2 metaphors together, which is really too much. But I want you to, I'm going to show you a little illustration. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. Okay, just a second. Oh, it took me into that. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you this to show you that you see everything that's on my phone. Well, that's not the one I want either. To give you an example of how this is put together. The 4 steps that I went through, and this is how they go, and they're various colors. Notice there's various shades of gray, because I don't have any absolute answers, and neither do you. It's all gray to black, but it's put together. And you'll see that the last and least thing that we're going to do is about the actual, and why, the actual weight program. Now, the bottom line, the best diet is, and I take a drum roll on this one. First of all, as I said, sensible. I see no reason that's good to go on a crazy diet. For several reasons. One, I know in my personal situation, if I went on a crazy diet, I'd ended up on a crazy binge afterwards. Doctors will tell you how bad it is for your body. I'd say how bad it is for your head and heart that you do this, because then you gain it back and you feel worse about yourself than you did in the first place. Okay, so sensible. Now there's a broad spectrum of what sensible is. You can watch 1,000 infomercials, you can buy 1,000 products. You know, some are low in fat, high in sugar, this, that, the other thing. Most of it still gets down to a calories, a calories, a calorie. Now maybe you'll burn a few less nanocalories if you don't eat after 7 at night, and maybe if you just stay with stuff that's green. But ultimately, if they say low fat, low calorie, eat tons of this and that, you're still gonna get down to usually basic calories. There's, as far as I can tell, and all the research I've done, the only diet that works is. Anybody want to take a shot at this?
That sounds.
Weight Watchers.
Well, that's a good choice. Sensible, yes, yes.
One you can stick to.
Hey, let's try this. I was gonna do a drum roll. You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Exactly. The one, a diet, and you wanna call it a diet, you wanna call it a food plan, whatever you wanna call it. One you can stick to. Okay, now what is that? A lot of that you have to look at. Now, here's a little bit of my history. I started fasting when I was 8 years old. That's not a thing for an 8-year-old kid to have to do. I was a fat little kid. I'll show you some pictures here in just a second. And then I yo-yo dieted until I was 29. I could almost make myself comatose, out of control eating, and sleep for many, 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 many hours. Get up, eat some more, go to sleep again. Now, there's got to be some depression in there, you know, and have I figured out everything that's wrong with me? Heck no. But enough to be happy. I'm sure most of us could spend the rest of our lives with a psychiatrist and we'd still never figure ourselves out. And I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while I learn something new and I go, oh, that's really funny. You know, even some things I go, Judy, that is terrible. And forgive myself for it. But one of the big advantages, I think, of having a weight problem is that you have to dig so deep to learn to not be dishonest with yourself. No denial, openness, honesty. Have you ever known people that are so phony they don't know they're phony? Really? Haven't you? You know, but you can do that, the denial thing to yourself. Well, and when you keep digging, why Judy, why Judy, why Judy, why Judy do I eat? You find out a lot of things. It happened to me over and over and over that I believe severe dieting caused severe binging. I would no more now abuse myself with a bad diet than with a binge. A bad binge. I have many binges. Normal people even have many. And then finally, when I was about 29, I had a non-epiphany, and I'm not even going to get into that. It isn't really an epiphany. I just decided I deserved better. Because I was treating myself really, really badly. I had more respect for anybody else in the world than for myself. And it's complicated. I mean, with one brownie, you can nurture and abuse yourself with the same bite. It's not simple for some of us. Some of us, there's lots of people that are overweight, just dumb about calories. I would say ignorant. You know, they just don't know. You know, and I don't really have much for people like that. I say, oh, gee, do cashews have a lot of calories? Oh, go and get a book. You know. Now we're talking about the head and heart stuff, the really deep problems that some of us, why do we do this over and over and over and over when it's something we want more than anything else in the world? I could do all kinds of things and I can't do that. And then what it does to your self-concept. And some of you, if you have the book, you've seen these lovely pictures. And if you see too that I just took a big, between 5 and 7 there, I gained what? A whole bunch, 75 to 94 pounds. And it was, like I said, at 8, I started fasting. And then I was on a diet constantly until after my son was born. Which was, I think it's funny in that one picture, lower right, I was always trying to hide behind a Christmas tree or a kid or, you know, get in the back row. It didn't work too well when you weigh 255. The one on the bottom one, I'm 44 years old, weigh 127 pounds. I weighed that 127 for about 12 minutes. I almost probably hurt myself holding my breath in that bad. But what I would say about a woman like that, and what I found out about something that we do over and over again, was this is what you should hear when you first lose that much weight. Danger, danger, danger. This kind of a lady is probably being a newly skinny like that is a very, very, very vulnerable time. Right? So to be like, say, on Weight Watchers, which somebody said, yeah, I agree, and I will tell you that later. I love Weight Watchers. It's in the back of my head all the time. You know, even the old one. It's like, how many breads have I had, meat, vegetables? It's burned into my brain because I did it for a long time. And it's healthy. It's not a diet, you know. It is just good, healthy eating. And then if you could afford more calories, it's not hard to figure that out. You know, say, gee, oh golly, I have to eat 200 more calories today, or 3 more exchanges, or whatever points, or whatever they're calling it this decade. You know, we can figure that out. But when I think it's like throwing a newborn baby out in the snow and saying, okay, now go have a nice life, skinny person. That's when it gets really tough. But it doesn't have to, if we use that weight time, losing weight time as I got the same shirt on I had on 2 years ago. Yeah. Okay. This is one thing I do. I think of myself as enduring. 35 years later, I still think of myself as enduring. Not in a scary way, but I really know I could do it. You know, I could do it. So it's not, you know, it's like everything, kind of a delicate balance between self-confidence and, you know, a little fear. Fear can be a good motivator. I think it's underrated, even as a parent. You know, I can think of many of the things I did in my life I did because of fear. Fear of disappointing my parents, fear of embarrassment, you know. Fear is not always bad. Okay, so let's go on to step 1. And step 1 was prepping yourself for success. Now, in the book, which some of you have, I talked about, first of all, ranting. And I think some of you, and it's fun, and I've done this with other people too, and just one-on-one about ranting about how you feel and getting some of that anger out of there. Some of the things that I said were enough dieting, enough hunger, enough failure, enough self-degradation, enough self-loaning, enough hurt, enough sadness, enough guilt, enough mental and physical suffering, enough denial, enough acting happy when you're miserable, enough not speaking up when fat folks are demeaned, enough listening politely when skinny experts give stupid, obvious, and simply worthless advice. And that's what we get, don't we, on TV over and over and over in magazines. All these diets that are the answer. That's not the answer. The answer's in here. You know, and you're going to screw up, and it's okay. That's part of being human. What I started out, you thought, what in the heck is she talking about? Yarn? This is not a lesson in yarn, you know, knitting. I said, these kind of look like back in the day, my thoughts and feelings and habits and everything, just a tangled, gnarled mess. The middle is kind of where you want to get, nice and orderly and linear. And, oh yes, I understand everything, and yes, my life is perfect, and it just doesn't happen like, I would guess mine's a little bit more like the last one. I kind of clumped it together some. It's pretty tidy, but it's not perfect. So I put in the books, most of you do have some quizzes that help you get figuring out your complexity, intensity, range, and perceptions. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's what you're all dealing with, and that's what we all deal with. Some of the things that I do in these quizzes are kind of funny, and then some are dead serious. Like how much do you think about food? You forget to eat until you faint to you sleep in front of the refrigerator. You know, it's just some of us, as far as exercise, physical limitations, you love taking a daily 5-mile run. Oh yeah. You hyperventilate at the very thought of physical activity. And then some of this is very serious, and then there's a coding. but you get down to getting a score. I could have just jumped to it. Oh heavens. Let's just go here. So you end up with a score, and it's funny, I've done this with my friends that don't really have much of a problem with weight, to some people that have a big problem with weight. It comes up pretty close. Normal people. You know, when we think of normal people, you look at skinny people. Skinny said as a word of love from me. That, you know, you see a lady that's 5'5" and 115 pounds and you think, she doesn't have a problem. She might have a terrible problem. Her symptom isn't showing. Maybe she is so obsessive about it that her life is miserable about weight. But she's not, you know, she doesn't have rolls of it around as evidence. Our fat's just a symptom of many different things. Okay, but normal people, you know, all kids were told to clean their plates. Stop with that. You know, skinny people were told to clean their plates too. That's just what parents do. Normal is gaining a little, losing a little, gaining 5 pounds at Christmas time, and taking it off in January and February. When we're talking about when you get higher up the end of, like I said, intensity from light gray to almost black, I was in a very, very bad place at one time. And as far as food was consuming me. I was probably a 9. And I think some of those 600-pound people are at a 10. And it is awful hard to get your way down without a lot of self-understanding. This, we talked about a little bit, that really, whether it's just bad habits, you want to know, it probably took me 40 hours of learning to learn how to make that graphic, and learning about 3 different programs. But some of us are just predisposed to it. Some of us have, you know, I said I have aunts that have legs like sequoias. You know, we're predisposed to be fat. You know, but I don't care who you take. If you put us out on an island and gave us 300 calories a day, we're going to lose weight. I don't care if your relatives are fat or not. Okay, and you don't have any choices, and some of us have bad habits. Some of them came from ways that bad things that happen. Say a death, something really bad, lose a job, death in the family, a divorce. And I had people friends, you know, like say divorce and they lost 40 pounds. What's that about? I gained 40. You know, I eat my sorrow, I eat my hurt. You eat those things where other people, they can't eat. I don't get it. You know, but it's different ways that we deal with life. All right, step 2. This gets to be a lot more fun. Identifying core values. And I made a soup thing because trying to get it lined up is like trying to line up the macaronis in the vegetable soup. But it's really fun, and you know, we all have them. And I say lucky you to use your weight problem as a catalyst to introspection, because I am relatively sure that I'm a better person because I had a weight problem than if I'd just been a skinny, mini, easy, cute person instead of having to really struggle. And in the struggle, it not only made me a better person, I think it made me a more tolerant person for people who have problems that I don't get. I don't understand them, but that doesn't mean that I should condemn them, because I don't understand them. It's made me a much more tolerant person. All right, the values and goals is getting your head and heart issues organized, and I go through a whole bunch of ways that you can do this. And it's like, it was just a little while ago that I realized, Judy, you wrote a curriculum. You know, I didn't really think about it that way, that I was looking backwards, taking everything in my life, and that it was written in my head, and that the lesson plans, and that the fact that it's just like when I create a course for several colleges, and college out here and high school, and then you tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and tweak it till it gets better and better and better, and you keep changing it. That's quite what I've tried to do for people who read this. And step 3, creating a life management plan. Okay, and step 2, you get your head and heart issues worked on, and organize and prioritize. Organize, that's another key word, I think. Have you ever noticed when your organization falls apart, your diet falls apart? I think it's huge. I think it is huge as far as staying organized. And it's not just your food, but obviously there's ways you can be organized to have good foods around, but we'll talk about this in a moment, but it's how all the rest of the things in your life deal with that. And then to get your hectic life organized and prioritized. This first picture is a little bit of like what we just talked about. Do you see yourself sometimes that this is how you deal with your weight problem? It's like a lady on a racetrack, starting line, and you're in a hurry to run around and get to the finish line. He said, you're at a goal line. You're at a dangerous goal line. I had first time I got a pair of 9 Bermuda shorts. I had a big label that hung out and it said 9. I didn't want to take that thing off. I wanted to hang it out there. Loved it. And I truly, at school, I would just sort of stand around and wait for somebody to tell me how nice I looked. You know, and you're just sucking in all that stuff, you know. But then when the problems would come again, I could make it through Christmas, I could make it through New Year's, I could make it through birthdays. It was generally a few days after that when you start letting your guard down. I did it. And then something happens to that head and heart thing, and you don't stay organized. And then you're so mad, and you're so disappointed. Have you ever noticed that you could weigh 200 pounds, and if you just came down from 210, you feel fantastic? But if you just came up from 190, you feel crappy? It's in my head. I mean, these are relative things, but of course. Now, besides the fact that you probably feel better because you've probably been eating healthfully. Okay, now I'm going to talk, and I talk a lot, instead of the idea like this, our lives are much more like this. And this is a huge, long metaphor that it's like your lifeline. We're like jugglers, tightrope walking jugglers. And life is your lifeline. The world can hand you all kinds of things to juggle. Some are wonderful. It's a family, it's a job, it's great things going on in your life. It can also be health problems. It can be relationship problems. And one big black ball you're gonna juggle forever is a diet ball, a food weight control ball, probably. But what happens, people keep throwing others at you, and we have this disease to please, and they say, oh, there's another one. Oh, would you be on that committee? Oh, would you do that? And we just keep grabbing these balls and keep trying to juggle, and we fall off. Because we don't know enough to say, no, leader, no. And you get back to that values and goals, too. And you think, I'm on a committee for this? I don't even care about this that much. It doesn't fit in with the things I really, really, really want to get done. And you don't feel quite right about yourself, but you haven't really thought about it and planned it out. All right. The people in the crowd, there's great people. There's your family, there's your loved ones, there's people telling you about crazy diets, there's people telling you that you're not acceptable the way you are. There's all kinds of good and bad people out there. And then there's this net. And the net is what's vital. That's your self-confidence. That's those values and goals. So you fall off once in a while. You drop the balls, you fall off. You can lay there and figure you've got values and goals to go to bring you back again. Okay, so, will she never quit? Okay, step 4. I'm still not just saying, well, this diet, this diet, this diet. This is perfect. This is exactly how it's going to work for you. The 3 essentials for life management. Now, these go through all of life and weight control. I don't know where I would have been without these. Again, things that I realize more in hindsight than in foresight. Autonomy. All right, I was a Weight Watcher lecturer, and for I would hear things like, well, if you quit doing this, I'll quit and I'll gain weight. No, honey, you're not doing it for your Weight Watcher lecturer. You're not doing it for your doctor. You're not doing it for your husband. When you gain weight, it is your fault. When you lose weight, it is your credit. I remember once a lady that sat down next to me after she weighed, you pay, weigh, and stay at Weight Watchers. And I think pay has a lot to do with it too. You shell out $10, $12, it's like, I'm gonna eat that crap, yeah? No, most of it's good and it's your choice. But anyway, This lady sat down with me. She had just weighed, and she was smirking, and I think she'd lost, I can't remember, 3 or 4 pounds. A lot. And I had not done well. And she's sitting there telling me that she cheated. You know, that's a part of the integrity I'm talking about. Okay, fine. This is not like she's a serial killer or anything. She just ate too much. All right. But I was really, really mad at her at the moment. You know, in my mind, really, really mad. And I think back now, 35 years later, I don't remember what I lost per week. And I would bet you anything that woman is still struggling, or else she's kind of, you know, you can cheat, but I would not call it a cheat. You just did something you're gonna fix the next time, or make adjustments to it. Autonomy, you are in charge of you. And that's good, and it's fun. Also, you need to have a little assertiveness along the way. I hear many people say, well, I had to eat such and such and such and such. No, you didn't. I said, I have tried to think of situations where I could really, really say, it's somebody else's fault, I ate something. And I said, it's short of saying that somebody tied me up and fast, you know, shoved food down my throat. I can't think of a single reason. That's almost a fantasy, isn't it? Yeah, never has happened to me. But anyway, and you can go to weddings and they're legally married without you eating the cake. And many people say, oh, I had to eat her stuff or she'd feel bad. I have found all kinds of ways with communication that you can say to your sister-in-law, oh, that pie looks so fantastic. Let me help you serve it. Let me taste it. Oh God, it's so good. Oh, I love it. And I love you. They're not going to get mad at you. A little communication. Or if you need something or need not to do something. If you do it with love and intent, people lots of times try to feed you stuff and say, and you go, oh, I really shouldn't. Well, that is just a big come on for them to say, oh, yes, here. So don't do that dishonest game with yourself either. That you're just not being totally honest. So these 3 things, I not only think I think they are paramount in weight loss, but also in much of life. Now, getting down to these 3 essentials for weight management, she's still not going to shut up about standards, and I'm going to talk about those 3 things in just a minute. But the standards for choosing a weight plan, some of you might have had these old ones of doing it for someone else, and I'm sure you figured out how that was. If some man said to me, I'd divorce you if you got fat, I would say, you're never going to have a chance to divorce me. Because, you know, that it's like that's not just who you are. And if you want to have a relationship with somebody, it's not just about the size of your butt. That would be a big, big, big warning sign to me. Okay, for a special occasion. Has anyone ever gone to their 40th class reunion and after they'd lost 30 pounds and said, that was really fun to be thin and have all those people tell me how great I look, but I think I want to gain that 30 pounds back now. It can be a short-term thing, a secondary goal, but not a primary goal. It's like, oh, I'm losing weight for my daughter's wedding. No. That would be nice, but don't make that your primary, and you've got to have a plan for when that's over. Because it's really easy to go into that amnesia for a few weeks. And that celebration of having accomplished that goal and letting your guard down. Scary stuff. That's where the siren should go off. New standards. I mentioned this before. I think you should rethink of weight loss. If you want to call it a diet, call it a diet. It doesn't matter what you call it. Eating less calories or eating whatever you say you're going to eat less of. It's actually going to get you there. You think of it as a re-education process, and you don't, because we don't need to learn how to not eat. I wrote in the book someplace here where I did this jet juice. It was on years ago. Nutrisystem was 400 to 700 calories. They have changed a lot. They're much better. So are many of the others. But this is back when. Anybody remember I wrote for the Register back in the 80s? I had a weekly column in the fat column in the Des Moines Sunday Register. Front page, women's section. Or else top page 2, right above Van Landers. And I hated doing it. You know why? Because it was entertaining. And it was just entertaining. And to me, when I make jokes about fat, it's like terminal patients making death jokes. You know, we've got to laugh, you know, but it's not really funny for some of us if it's taking control of your life. And it was not the right platform for me. Plus the fact that there was all these people hanging on me again. You know, depending on you for something, that should be everybody else's, your own thing. I think of it as a re-education, and you don't need to learn how not to eat. That's why I think it's so important that whatever you're going to do, you've got some choices in. Weight Watchers is a perfect example of between being totally up on your own and support. Except messing up. Let you the net of core values. You just lay there and get back up again. Use outside help, but you're in charge. I guess I've said all these things. And make weight management secondary. Yeah, got through those. All right, choices. Right now, some of you, it sounds like, are making that, I think the worst of the three choices is that hell you live in, that limbo, that tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next Monday. I've had Mondays where I didn't make it to breakfast kind of diet. But a limbo, you're constantly going to do something about it. To me, that's the most painful. That's the hardest. Because you never, on even a daily basis, living up to what you want to be. Secondly, and I think it's a very viable option, is to say, screw it. I am just going to be who I am, and I'm healthy, my blood pressure's okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay, I have energy, I have a zest for life. I'm going to stay this way. If you can. I would think I might have done that a while back if I could stay in one place. But I've never found that spot. All right, the third choice, obviously, is to think of this as a ball that you're going to juggle. The hard part, first when you have to lose it and then maintaining it, but it's not something like diabetes. It's not going to go away. And that's okay. You know, what I thought of a few years ago, and I thought, this is a riot. Here I am, this old, I take no drugs, I have tons of energy, I have a great life, and it's probably because I've been eating so darn healthy for so many years that I wasn't even really thinking terribly hard about healthy eating. I was just thinking about weight maintenance. But I did always follow Weight Watchers, so I thought, well, this is what you get. You know, somebody that's healthy. Not skinny, but healthy. Okay, exercise plans. I have a very low tolerance for boredom. I change them constantly. As I said, I've walked every nook and cranny of this town and all over the world. Lots of walking. The choices of diets, commercial prepackaged, I'm sure you know what I would say about that, is that probably it's just going to be a vacation if there's no choices in it. Now, I can see doing it, those little, I think they're Nutrisystem packs you can buy now, like $34 is a week's food, you have the other stuff. If autonomously you think you want to do that, maybe you want to do a week of that or a day of that, but don't just put your head down and just, you're plowing your way through something you're going to get done with. If you want to utilize that, but I think that's probably the scariest, to just do something that's completely rigid, prearranged diets. Now there's a plethora of ways. Some will say 800 calories, 1,000, 12,000, or 1,200 or 1,000, and then there are things that you're supposed to eat exactly. Some of them you hate. Remember those old diets from the doctor? Ugh, bouillon, ugh. Okay, some of them were just horrible. How are you going to stick to that if you hate it? And what are you learning from it if you hate it? Take everything that your family loves and try to squeeze the calories out of it. Try to do more of that stuff. If you like to cook and you're creative, this is a lot simpler probably. And I enjoy doing those things. And I enjoy feeding him. And he tells me if it's good or not. Diet groups, as I'm sure you know, I think it's a good idea. But I'm kind of that kind of person that likes that interchange with people. I want to share. I want to help you with your problem. I want you to help me with my problem. It's like going to church. It's not going to solve the problems. It's an hour a week, but it's you get some reinforcement. You feel strength. You feel a sense of camaraderie. You're with people of like-mindedness. I like it. Now, there's other ways certainly to join Weight Watchers, and that can be on, online stuff now. But as I said, I like the people part of it, that interaction. Some people would hate it. Some people just hate that, and then that's obviously not for you. Obviously, what I think is best is customizing, and in the book, there's all kinds of ideas. I talk about from very, very minute to general. Okay, this comes from one of my favorite groups. It's National Control Registry, National Weight Control Registry. They have been following about 12,000 people since 1994. The average of people have lost 55 pounds and had it off over 5 years. And so it's kind of interesting data that they keep coming up with. And you can, that's their website. And in the book, most of you have already gotten the book. In the book, there's like 60 some links in the back to absolutely wonderful, wonderful research. And some of it's funny. Some is about childhood, about childhood obesity. Some about how much stars are paid to be in Weight Watcher commercials and other commercials. Some silly, some very, very, very serious. I think what I take biggest note of is the 90% exercise. Well, there's been a lot of data in the last few years that have shown that it doesn't really do a whole lot. You're not going to lose a lot of weight by just exercise. But as far as for maintenance, and I've always said exercising to me has kept me from killing a lot of people. I mean, it lengthens your fuse. And I feel cranky if I don't move, and I think I get that one. Now, as far as weighing once a week, should I tell you? I weigh once a year, and I'll show you how and why in a moment. I hate that scale. The scale is the meanest, nastiest. It's demonic. It's never fair. But I have things that I do that are very fair and just, I think, better. Not that you shouldn't. I mean, I know people that have weighed every morning of their life and never changed very many, and that works exactly for them, and that is superb. I just hate that thing. I just looking at it in the bathroom every morning. I hate you. Okay. What I do now, I eat whatever I want. I eat wherever I want. Now, this is kind of scary to you, I'm sure. I eat 1,100 to 1,400 calories per day. Now, many of you can eat a lot more than that. There's some data that says that women should be average 2,200 calories a day. Figure out the stats on that. I would gain 92 pounds in 1 year if I ate 2,200 calories a day. Now, do I do it exactly? No. But that's remember when I was talking about the control, the planning, the accountability, and the commitment? This is mine. This is mine right here. This is today. This is book 52. Here they are. I have 51 other books in here. Since August 6, 2006. I'm not that old. 2006, I have been doing this. And this is the easiest thing I've ever done. Now, I could do it online. I'm kind of techie for an old girl, but this goes with me. It sits by my lazy boy and the TV, and I write down my calories every single day. Now, am I exact? Not exactly. Do I measure stuff? A lot of stuff I do measure. I love my little scale in the kitchen. My cups and those sort of things, but most things I know. When I pour a glass of wine, I know exactly where that half cup, 4 ounce mark is, drink out of the same cup. Same way with ice cream, whatever, but this is what I do. And this is kind of planning because, like I said, I've got that Weight Watcher stuff in the back of my head always. I can tell you what I'm going to eat for breakfast. I have all kinds of things I like to eat for breakfast, but they all include whole wheat, they include protein, they include fat, they include a carb. And that keeps me happy. I could eat Rice Krispies till 3 boxes and I'd be hungry in no time.
You just said you include whole wheat?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, some kind of whole grain. Yeah, bread, whatever, yeah. eggs or peanut butter on my toast, whatever, but I get that protein, and that seems to be really what, and milk. Maybe some people hate milk. I love milk. I'm down to drinking almond milk now, so I drink 2 cups in the morning. That's 60 calories. You know, maybe you don't like it, don't do that, but I hate that blue skim milk. And that's 100.
Judy, pardon me, what did you say that you include in your breakfast?
I include a whole grain, protein. Okay, here's 230 calories right here. A 70 calorie slice of whole wheat bread. Good bread, not good whole wheat bread. A tablespoon of peanut butter is 100 calories. A teaspoon of butter is 30 calories. And some diet jam or some honey for 20 to 30 calories. You come out to about 230 calories right there. Add milk, you know, whatever. But it stays with me. I feel satisfied. If I start out with donuts, I mean, I could claw my way into a bakery all day. Once I start on that, I am miserable. I'm mean, I'm miserable, and I'm hungry. And I don't want a damn vegetable. I want carbs. Sweet, greasy carbs. Yeah. I can't eat very many calories. Most people can eat more than that. But this is why it's so important to know your baseline. And you will know, if you notice in here, I've got a spreadsheet in here that I made out from these calorie things. Someplace I'm very anal about some things, but it's, I can average those calories up I used to do it devoutly every 6 weeks, what the average was, how much I, was eating, till I came out with a baseline of knowing what I really could do. Then I'd say, add 2 cups of water, or 2 quarts of water every day. I'd try that for 6 weeks, add, more exercise, add that in, and figure this out. And that's just the 300 calorie range I've come up with. And like I said, some things I am not. At Clementine, I write down 40 calories, because I'm pretty sure that's about what it is. But I would bet, if you've taken probability and statistics, it's probably pretty doggone close. Now, when it's something really, really high calorie, like hamburger or something, I will probably weigh it. If I know there's 50 calories in an ounce. But very, very often I go to weigh out 4 ounces, and I figured out what I think it is, and I put it on there, and I'm awfully close. We've been doing this a long time, folks. Okay, so the planning is kind of set in my brain, because Weight Watchers is burned in my brain. It doesn't have to be Weight Watchers, it's just healthy eating, what you think you should have in a day. You should have fruits, you should have vegetables, you should have milk, unless you're, for some reason, allergic to these things. Maybe some protein. Now, if you go on something that's like a vegetarian diet, which I have tried, and I just as soon you shoot me, I like my carbs. I know if I go very overboard on the carbs, I'm in trouble. But I've learned that if I manage my carbs, I'm good. And I feel good. But I know when I eat too many carbs, I feel crappy. So it's lucky, it's lucky that, I thought, wouldn't it be nice if you were unfortunate enough to have a disease, that they say, well, what you have to do is lay still all the time, don't move, don't exercise, eat nothing but sugar and butter, take it easy, get as much stress in your life as you possibly can. It doesn't matter if you have a bad heart or cancer or weight troubles, it's always the same. Drink plenty of water, get plenty of exercise, get plenty of sleep, and eat blah, 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 blah. The same things we're supposed to eat to lose weight, to maintain weight. And it goes across the board for every bad other reason to work on your health. So actually, it's a very good thing. Okay, accountability, it's right still here. What I've said to myself in my commitments is, it doesn't matter if I would eat a chocolate bunny that was that tall. I got to figure out how many calories are in it and write it down. Now, what does that do for me? I very likely am not going to eat it, because I got to write it down. And if I do eat it, I got to look at it. All right? I'm going to feel like crap anyway. So I'm probably not going to eat anything else the rest of the day. but it's going to be here. And that gets into a big part of back in those values and goals. It's a matter of integrity with myself. But I have to write it down. So this little book looks like just a little innocent book that says book 52 of, and I always put a blank here. I don't know how long I'm going to do this. Book 52 of 3,000? I don't know. But I will do this. This is easy for me. I bet I don't spend 2 minutes a day total doing this. Now, for some people, you'd say, oh, that's horrible. I saw a thing, just a meme on my Facebook this morning said something about if you bite it, write it. And I couldn't agree more. But you've got those 3 things packed right in here and something like this. Do it on your phone. I mean, do it on your phone. There's some wonderful programs out there now for keeping track of things. My Fitbit, I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. But I don't, it tells you how many calories, and I'm kind of surprised. It works out pretty well. Your heartbeat, how many steps you've gone. I like something like this a lot. And I get my 10,000 steps in a day. I've become obsessive enough. If I get to like 9,500 and it's time to go to bed, my prance around a while, just because it dings and throws fireworks at you and stuff, and you get your little mini reward. I've said that about exercise. There's some final kernels, and most of these now I think I have covered. Watch for weariness. This has been, when I look back, and now I know, when I am tired, my guard is down. And it's so much easier to just open that refrigerator door. So much easier. And then if there's nothing in there that's healthy, it's really, it took me a long time to figure out, Judy, you idiot, you're tired. Sit down, lay down. But we push ourselves. Personally, I struggle if I don't have milk and veggies. I don't know about the rest of you, but you find out what nourishes you, makes you feel satisfied. To me, milk is about feeling satisfied. I don't have as many cravings if I do that. And then the next one you'll see, if I do start craving, throw in some grapefruit juice. Somehow that acidity tends to stop me. Now I know these are just little bitty hints, but they've been important to me. Get and stay somewhat organized. Somewhat. You don't want to be so organized that you take all the fun out of your life. It's like, I will be spontaneous from 11:02 to 11:09. No, you want to make room for all the joyfulness, but somewhat organized. Minimize the chaos in your life, in your mind, in your heart. That goes in where your values and goals and a life management plan, which I really didn't talk about much at all today. And seek to create somewhat orderly life. I found the older I get, the more I love order. I love to be open a drawer, and there's not 3 watermelon ballers in there. I can find things orderly. And our brains are like that too. There's so much, and if our lives are cluttered, just physically, I think it makes a difference. But then also the clutter, the emotional clutter that sometimes some of us need to get cleaned out. And you put them all together and they add more stress. And stress makes you eat. It does lots of things to us. So yeah, somebody told me the other day this book is not a diet book, it's a philosophy book. And kind of, sort of. But it's a philosophy with a plan. Make the weight control just a secondary goal, absolutely. And when you get to the end of that, you need even more planning. And there's my 3 things: planning, accountability, have good choices available, and the accountability, like what I do. I told you what I do now with my little books. Healthy weight loss time is just basic training for long-term maintenance. And then stick to whatever process that will allow you to lead a happy, healthy, meaningful life at peace with food. That's it. Thank you. And now I'd like you to ask me questions. I talked a long time. If anyone wants to stay later, I'm glad to stay till I get too hungry, and then I'm like. Yes.
I want to
Rosie.
tell you, I think you look great.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And I really enjoyed coming today.
Good.
Because you helped me. Thank you.
Well, good, good. Oh, you have lots of notes. Yes, if anybody wants me to talk at a barbecue, bar mitzvah, whatever. Not a lot of bar mitzvahs before Dutch. Book clubs, yeah, any place I can help. I truly, that's my major motivation. I have vipers, we live fine. Okay, anybody else?
I didn't see where can we get your book?
Well, right up here.
Up there?
Okay, and you can get it at Amazon, and you can get it at the bookstore. Yeah, I could do another whole thing on just publishing.
You met the man who writes Making Weight in the Register that's trying to lose weight.
Oh, Dan, what's his name?
What's his name?
Yeah, and he deals with some heavy duty depression too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got an interesting story.
I've talked to him. Anybody else?
Do you go into like organizing the cupboard, the shopping list, the refrigerator, what to stock?
I
what to-
go into organizing your meal plan from whence you get, and there's pictures of it even in here, and then from whence you make a grocery plan. Organize your cupboards, no.
Well, I mean,
There's-
what you should stock up on, what maybe you should quit
No, but
stocking
there's
up on.
tons of stuff out there that, you can go online. There's so many great programs out there now. You can go online and create a diet, create a plan. Oh, so what are some of the names of them? I can't think of it. This is me at the moment. You can put in what you want to eat. It'll make out a grocery list for you.
Programs online
Yeah.
help on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these are just suggested as ways of which I would always start with what the activities my family was going to do first. That's the first thing I'd put in my diet plan. Because if you're going to, I'll go to a basketball game at 6 o'clock at night, that kind of changes what you're going to do. And then I would make stuff backwards from our activities and all the other things that I had to do. Okay. Anybody else? Well, if not, you can stay if you want to, but if not, thank you guys all for coming. Yeah, thank you, yes.
Write it down.
Write it down, write it and write it. Or write it and write it. Sometimes I write them down a little bit ahead of time. To see how see what I'm gonna come to. And I go, whoa, it's 860 calories. What else should I do? Because I've written down what exactly, like last night was a cold salmon pasta salad I made, and, they'd added it at the time. Variable, give yourself some flexibility, give yourself some forgiveness. I'm here.
Oh, just on there. You don't actually write it down in the book too.
No, but this keeps a record on my phone. Yeah. It'll keep track of it. But I
It's a
just-
workout for you, keeping up with moving around, huh?
Yeah, you gotta play catch up all the time. Where are you going next? Where are you going? Oh, it's fun, it's fun.
So I do way more at shopping center than I like doing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yes, yes. Okay, good. Thank you, sure. Sure.
How much is your book, Judy?
18 here.
18.
I think that's what it is in the bookstore, but it's,
I've downloaded it, but it doesn't do justice to it.
oh, well, bless you. All right, let me give you a copy. All right. I do, I've got change. Change. There you go. Thank you.
Are they signed?
Well, not yet.
I got to here, I need a signature.
Okay. You probably don't want this. I mean, I don't know. Oh, I gotta take that money. I'm such a good money manager, aren't I? Here's $22. Okay, sure. What's your name? Beth.
All the time.
You're
On the tour right
left-handed.
now.
Oh, yeah.
You're the what?
Oh, she's on tour.
She's on. I didn't, is this the first stop?
Yes.
Is that Karen?
Yes.
Hi.
She never forgets.
She never
it.
gets a voice.
You can't hide.
I just thought, I've,
Okay, that's.
Well, yeah, this was first time out, and just to kind of see what's going on.
yeah, I just thought, I've got to stop by Music Beam from Dodge today, so
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Thank you.
She did a
I'm all about
blogger thing on
sensitive.
Saturday, I was thinking.
Oh, it's since,
That's
yes.
supposed to go ahead.
All right, what's your name?
Association,
Rick.
which I didn't know existed.
Rick from Care.
Who knows?
Well,
No,
originally,
no.
Where are you now?
well, I mean, before you.
Oh, okay.
Been here a long time.
Done, so I just.
Oh, my phone, my cards are back there too.
Saturday, I would-
If you want to call me.
Help, help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
anyway, so.
Well, yeah, you should talk to her.
I will, no, just let me do her thing.
I just can't seem to write everything down.
Well, if you can keep track.
Yeah.
And guys, I hate you guys, because you lose so much easier, and you go through and get your trouble
You
spots.
lose it, but somehow you find it.
Yeah,
You find it back.
yeah. Yeah, that's from, going back to what you were doing before.
Yeah.
But, if it's like stuff you know you can give up.
You know, I didn't want
I mean, if you absolutely love ice cream, I love ice cream.
Oh,
okay.
I mean,
It's not
Signature, yeah.
Western time.
It's not
One.
an absolute have to have it all the time, but I mean, I can do without a lot of them, but.
I can't go without ice cream.
Just can't get the right.
I had to learn to make peace with it.
Oh, tell me the truth, yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Rick. Okay.
There'll be another time.
Wow, so I got a
You did a good job.
Yes, did you
Have
do
seen
that?
it? No, she didn't. You seen the book?
No,
I really do. I wish I could talk to some book clubs.
because it's been the experience when I retired.
Yeah, retirement is so
Yes.
much better, but that's when.
Thank you, Joyce.
Yeah, time all of a sudden.
Retirement is absolutely.
Hi.
How much are the books?
18.